Welcome to the Broski Doodles podcast, the best podcast in all of the land. It's your boy Kiko Flo, Kiko Cervantes. They call me the accent artist. Yes. In San Francisco is Chef Maurice, resident to the beautiful city of the urban dwellers, the homeboys that can do all sorts of movements. You know, do you think the homeless people in San Francisco are more aerodynamic because of the yoga culture in the city?
Yeah. For sure.
Because you sent me some videos. You sent me some videos when you're walking around, your area, which, by the way, is not cheap at all. But they're able to dwell around there and do their yoga poses. I mean, they're doing things that's pretty extreme.
Movements I've never seen or thought it could be capable of doing. Those are the extremes. Maybe do you remember during the Olympics that they had what was it, like the breakdancing?
Right.
Maybe we can start the U.S. team here.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can grab any urban dweller in the street nearby you, and they will do better than the Australian breakdancer, for sure.
Do you remember her name?
They feel no pain. She actually had like a very meme-esque name, which was like the funniest shit. Like, search for it, but it was like, what is it?
Ray Gun.
Yeah.
Her name is Rachel Gunn, but they call her Ray Gun.
Ray Gun. And that's like a name that you put on yourself. It's not like the community was like, oh, she's the Ray Gun. No, she put it on herself. And then she told people like, oh, by the way, people know me as Ray Gun.
Well, that's a good question I always wanted to ask, because you have a nickname. Kiko is your nickname, right? Mm-hmm. Now we know it as your name, but Kiko, it was your nickname for a while. Now, what's the purpose, or what's not the purpose? How do you start the nickname? Because I feel like something like Ray Gun, you said she put it up on herself, but I think that this is like somebody put it on her, like her coach, her mentor.
It happens in all sorts of ways, the nickname. In my case, the nickname came from my young sister. She's like 2 years younger, so she couldn't say my name in Spanish. So she said Kiko, and that's sort of how it stuck. To be honest, I love it because it's part of me now. But if you think about it from scratch, it is kind of a weird name. It's kind of a name that you could hear on a dog type shit. If you think, like, it could be like your little pet iguana, Kiko. So it's not like an amazing name, but it is the one that I was able to get, through the situation that I've explained, and I've grown to love it. But nicknames can come from different places. We come from the Venezuelan culture, and in South America, it's very common for you to give nicknames to your friends, and usually it's not like good names, It's like pepperoni pizza Peter, right?
That was a very useful during high school.
Old ass face Catherine.
Horse face.
Samantha. Yeah. So nicknames can come from different, angles.
What about like rappers? Do rappers come up with their name, or somebody comes up with it for them?
That's true. I don't know. I guess it comes in different ways. I made up mine, If you think about it, that is also like a very corny situation, like having to get an artist name. Because if you think about it, an artist name is almost like you're putting yourself a nickname. And that's corny in itself. It's like, hey guys, from here on, I'm going to be known as Mr. McMahon.
Oh, wow. Nice transition. I like that one.
We haven't really prepped this at all. Did you watch the series?
Now that you bring it up, yes, I watched it.
Oh, you did? What a coincidence.
Oh my God.
What? I wouldn't have known this. It's not like we planned any of this. Like, what?
I did watch it. It brought back a lot of memories from my childhood, even though I'm not a wrestling fan. I thought it was a very nice touch to go back and think about an era where we were growing up and we had just moved to the United States, and then this, or the wrestling, or WWF, that later on became WWE, that was like right there to your face when we were growing up, and we had just moved to the United States, and this is not something that we saw back in our poor country. Now, when we moved to the States and you went to like middle school, I went to elementary school. Did you go to elementary school when you moved?
I didn't.
so straight into middle school, and
Sixth grade, yeah.
and it was like that teenage 12, 13, like it was perfect demographic.
Yeah.
We were in that demographic.
When I looked
And-
at the doc, it did literally did do that to me. Even though I wasn't part of that like wrestling fandom, it takes
we
you
were
to the
around
time.
it.
Yeah, because I was around it, and my cousins like knew about it and they liked it, and like
The
video
little white
games
boys at school.
were about it. Yeah,
Video games, yeah,
like
that's right.
Lunchables had themes of it, so it was like a whole
They had the
thing.
little figurines, the shirts. I mean, I remember a lot of the shirts, the figurines, the I think it was like PlayStation 2 game.
Oh yeah, there was a
Um,
game too.
It
me-
was very like in
To
your
me,
face.
it was always a weird concept. Maybe because we weren't raised. Like, I mean, I guess we were raised in the U.S. After one point, but the whole thing about like lucha libre, I guess in the Mexican communities they know about it. But like the whole thing about like a soap opera for bros, that's what it was, right? Like it's this
Soap opera
this
for bros.
stage thing. And I respect it. And after watching the documentary, I respect it even more because of how hurt they got at point and how crazy they were destroying their bodies. Now like they use sometimes that excuse or like, how can you say it's not real? People break bones and shit. Yeah, I mean, we're not saying the physical things aren't real. We're saying like you decide who's gonna win or not. So it's I mean, I'm pretty sure there wasn't any betting happening when there was wrestling. People weren't betting on it.
I don't think they were betting just because the
So that alone
storyline
tells
was
that alone tells you, okay, everybody's clear on this. But anyways, when I saw the documentary, like the main thing that I got from it was like, damn man, these guys were brutally hurt doing all these things, concussions. Bro, there were some things where they were jumping off the cage where I'm like, how is this even like, what the fuck is this? And it also lets you know, and this happened also when I saw the Woodstock documentary, but the 90s one, that it was that whole era with Girls Gone Wild, WWF, Woodstock, Korn, Limp Bizkit, this whole movement. And I remember, bro, like those days were a bit crazy. I was so young that I didn't really process it as such. But now when I think back and I look at the documentary, I'm like, bro, those eras were crazy. The fact that they had all of that shit in TV for kids to see.
And it was like a free for all. Yeah. And people love that shit. And a lot of blood, a lot of the girls doing stuff that now on TV you won't ever see that shit again. That was a
that era is gone. That era is gone.
It's never coming back.
It was super. Yeah, it was, and it's crazy because the 90s had this thing where like the 70s and 80s still brought, even though it was grungy, it still brought this class to it. Like there was still some decorum around certain things. And then in the 90s, there was this pocket of time where it was like, hey, we're just gonna sexualize women and like talk about all these things in a very derogatory way. And I'll be honest with you, at the time it was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a different times. Now, as you see in the documentary, when they start asking the other wrestlers, they're like, yeah, we shouldn't have done a lot of the stuff that we did, but they did it. And at that time, as you can see throughout the documentary, it's all about the business. And I think for Vince McMahon, which I always despised, like I look at him, I'm like, I don't want to watch, like because of him, I don't want to watch wrestling. But now I understood more of why he was the way he was, because he then later on became the face of the WWE. And he was like this old guy who was like extremely hard, like not a hard penis, but like very strong, and it gave me like weird vibes. And towards the end of the documentary, I think in the last episode, the weird vibes came alive.
Why?
On all of the lawsuits that he tried to hide,
sexual allegations, and
yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. I'm not trying to excuse the guy. To be honest, even though the guy shared a lot in the documentary and you could see some of the human side, he still comes off like an asshole. Like, hey, I'm all for the business. Fuck everybody. That's pretty much how he comes off. He doesn't even like address anything like about his son in a way that you would think, oh, I love my son type shit. So it's all fucked up. The whole
like
thing he did
after-
with his family, like, I know it's a character that they're playing, but the fact that that they had an actual running theme, right, or like a script where the mom, who's older, right, is put like in coma while this guy is fucking these hot ass girls, is like, it's pretty like fucking sick. It's disturbing to see it now too.
I think there's a part in the documentary that he slightly said it, and then it never came up again. Where the line of the show for that time, it was going to be that he impregnated his daughter.
Yes.
And they touch it, like he said it, and nobody else asked any more questions about it. And they just
That is
moved on
true.
about.
That is true.
But
I
he
do
did
remember
say
that.
part of the line of the show was like he impregnated his daughter, and I'm like, how come they're not talking about this a little bit more? But
Yeah.
they just kind of like
That is
step
true.
back and move on towards something else.
Good that you brought it up, because that was, I mean, it was pretty fucking sick. It was pretty sick. But hey, sometimes you need those type of characters to drive this type of situations. I did like the beginning of it where they explained how this started as a very local business, where like local people manage the wrestling federations. You know, in these times they did it like out of gyms where like 50 people would go watch. Like, to me it's very crazy how this phenomenon started. You know, they go back to like Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, and even, you know, before that. But the fact that there was like an audience for this even before this was televised, to me is crazy, right? It's like it's entertainment mixed with physicality, and it's like a movie. It's like a theater. You know, it's not real in the sense that it's scripted. So, you know, I did like the whole investigative reporting they did at the beginning, showing you the evolution of wrestling. And then when Vince McMahon took over, because his dad was the one that, you know, had the promotion, he did like something where he broke the unwritten rules of the wrestling federations, which is, you know, there's already certain people that have their own federations that control the, you know, the southeast, the northwest, this and that. And he's like, fuck that, I'm gonna go everywhere and I'm gonna take over. And that's what he did.
I think it was great, like I said, to go back and see the beginning. And now I remember a lot of my youth living in Venezuela. I do remember a lot of Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. I don't remember seeing the show. I remember a lot of talk and a lot of people like doing the movements, you know, like how the wrestling movements were like playing around and stuff. But I never actually saw it until I came here. And then, like I said, it gives you an understanding of how it began and how it evolved and how, you know, something like, what was it that they do? What is it, like once a month or once a year? WrestleMania. How that basically started changing the whole movement of wrestling. And how later on 2 companies became like the biggest ones, WWF and
WCW.
WCW. A lot of the people from one company started going to the other.
Was a little more raunchy. It was a little bit more like underground. And for a while, they almost switched it. But McMahon came hard with the WWF, which is now known as the WWE, because the Panda Federation took the name.
The Panda Federation.
It's like the world.
Yeah. I'll look it up. I want to see but it is a panda. World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah. So the WWF had to change their shit to WWE because of the fucking pandas.
Now, I want to tie this in the right way. You saw in this documentary, Mr. McMahon, how they were very cool. He was very cold towards his children, yet they wanted to prove something to the parent or to the dad, or in this case, Vince. Now look into the Menendez brothers, who we've talked about a lot in the past, how they seem to like always wanted to please their dad. Is this like a cultural thing? Do you think like a very, I don't know, American way of doing things?
Well, I wouldn't even say it's American. I would say that's a biological thing. I think every
Where,
male, especially the firstborns, have like this strong sense, a feeling of responsibility to making their parents proud.
is it maximized now because they're in shows, like in TV shows where it's, they showcase it more?
You mean with these families specifically, or?
Or this behavior where the oldest male child has to like be the guy. So
I mean, social media obviously has fucked up and exaggerated many things, many feelings that we already have. But I think this comes from like the old days, you know. Like I'm watching Game of Thrones now, and like you could see it, like the oldest son, he knows he has a responsibility, and like it's a thing you've known through culture, in humanity in general. Now it is true that when your dad is big, there's a bigger shadow, so it's harder to impress, you know.
and in these two shows, the father was a big figure, like you said. One being a
Right.
businessman, or
Yeah,
actually both being
in the
businessmen.
Menendez Brothers, the dad was a big executive
RCA,
in the RCA record
Kurtz,
company, and then Vince McMahon was a huge,
both him and his
and his
father
dad.
were,
Yeah.
were huge.
So yeah, I mean, you could see that pressure. I mean, and this happens a lot to celebrity kids or sons of very famous people. Yeah, because they feel that they have to prove their parents wrong. But I mean, who knows? It also has to do with the relationship. I'm sure there's parents that are famous that don't put that pressure on their kids and sort of try to show them a different way. I mean, we could debate to which one is correct. I do think that Vince McMahon wasn't too giving to his kids in the emotional part. At least in the documentary, that's how it shows.
It
But I
only
don't know.
shows the business side, like the work side. Doesn't show like the behind the scenes of family time that they would have.
Right, but I mean they show you parts of it that you're supposed to believe that okay, if they're acting as they would act normal, this feels cold for being a dad and a son or whatever. But I mean, anyways, seeing it now, do you think that if you were older when this was happening, like let's say instead of
Mhm.
being 13 when it was happening, you were 20,
Mm.
21,
Ma-
would you have gone to like the actual events live?
I was invited a couple of times to go. I never went because tickets were expensive, as you could imagine. But no, I never went, and I don't know. I think for me, it has to do with like a cultural thing. If I was 20, I had been living in the U.S. for let's say 10 years now, maybe I would have gone, at that time. Maybe just to go and be with my friends and also have a good time. But I don't know. Now I don't. It's still going on, and I know they've come to San Francisco a bunch of times since I've lived here. So I've never been one of like wanting to go. But I
It's
feel like it's a good
crazy.
show.
It's crazy because that wrestling still is going on today. Vince McMahon, I think, sold part of it to some
Right.
entertainment company, and apparently they're doing more money than ever before. They're reaching more people. It's global. It's mainstream, but I don't ever hear of it. And maybe it's just because it's not in my algorithm. Like
Right.
because I don't like it or whatever. It's just not there. But apparently, it's huge, and it's become more family friendly, which I think is good. I mean, obviously, you couldn't have what they were doing in the 2000s.
I wanna I wanna see if they have like a schedule to see if they're coming again to my city. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go. I just want to know how it moves. But
And how much
yeah,
it
like you
costs and
said,
shit.
how much it costs.
What
Uh,
about like this is a little different, but it's sort of in the same grain. Would you go to like an event? It's very American. Would you go to one of these events that are like monster trucks?
I would to the monster trucks. I would go. I think that's like a true American thing to do, right? With like a couple of beers and just yelling America.
Yeah, like that one I kind of would do.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
I'll take like a Make a Great America Great Again hat and a wife beater,
Maybe right. It has to be a white beater.
and then we'll just get wasted and do cocaine in the bathroom.
See a bunch of cars just flying. So I'm at the website right now, and they have tickets out for something that's going to come out in 2026.
Mm.
So I don't think this is going to
For
slow
the
down anytime
wrestling?
for the wrestling.
So
The
there's
wrestling
nothing
stuff.
there's nothing available until 2026.
No, no, no. They have shows every so often, but what I'm saying is like they're selling it 2 years ahead because they know it's probably going to sell out, and then they can open a second date or something like this. But this one in 2026, it's in Minnesota at the
God
football
damn it.
stadium,
That's crazy, man.
and then you can. It's that's a culture. Like I think that's like an American thing. I used to work with a guy in his 30s that he would rock. What was his name? Stone Cold Steve Austin's shirt,
Yeah.
like from the early 2000s, and big. One of the things I like about the documentary was that they kind of brought up all the stars so they can talk
Yeah.
about it.
That
John
is true.
Cena's there.
They
The
got
Rock.
everybody. They got everybody that was somebody back then. I don't know all the names, but when I saw all of them, I was like, oh, I remember all of these people. And it was cool them talking about it, and
Yeah,
Hulk
and most of them
Hogan.
said that they would basically take a bullet for Vince. Like
Yeah.
he was a father figure to them, and like they never saw anything wrong, and how he. I don't know. I kind of like that part where people were like, we would do anything for this guy because he
You
did
think
anything
there
for
is
us.
like this part they didn't show of Vince in the background, behind the scenes, just doing bumps with everybody, like, "Hey, what's up?" And I mean, being honest, back in that time, very normal for them to be like, "Hey, by the way, aside from the bag of the cocorino, I have three of the hottest biddies waiting for
Mm.
us."
So you're saying it's not only the steroids, um, but it was also the Cocorino Romano.
Cocorino Romano, yes. You need bro. Everybody. I mean, I think they even said it at one point, like they were all doing Cocorino Romano. So it's but I mean that's kind of like what you would need, right, to go out there and do the shows that we're doing.
Right.
Um,
Right.
the,
Well, they were doing it 300 nights a year or more.
is this? I mean, because I saw some document. Man, I've seen a lot of things. I'm unemployed at the moment, so I've watched a
So
lot
we've
of
seen a lot of
content.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, they also
Technically
talk about
speaking,
the
and
the the the
metaphorically.
death of all these
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you.
wrestlers.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, yeah, the natural death of many of them, or not natural, but was there? Am I making it up that there was a scene where there's a guy that dies in while doing the show? He's like hung
Right.
from some shit and falls.
And he fell. He kind of died right away.
Yeah,
What was his
and then
name?
and then continue the show.
That was the fucked up part. It's like, how can you continue? But he's like, it was dark.
No, but
Nobody saw shit.
You know what's crazy? The commentators were like, "Well, he's in the hospital now, so we're hoping him the best." It's like, bro, you already know. But they're like, "Hey,
Dude,
man,
that was
we already got the hot dog stands and the beer station, so
keep the line moving.
keep it moving." Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty crazy what they were doing. Yeah,
There's a list of how many people have died, and it's a lot.
I
don't
think
know
there's
how many,
one
but
that
it's a lot.
died with like a like broken neck. There's like I think there's one that's like horrible. I mean, there's many that are bad, but I think there's one where like it's like that move where they grab the guy upside down and you sort of
And
jump
you
with it,
slam
yeah,
them. Yeah,
and like they broke his neck
dude.
and he dies. But I mean, I gotta give it to them, even though to me it's like it doesn't interest me because sports for me have to be real, right? In that sense. I mean, I take my hat off to what they do because it's like insane acrobatic mixed with punk rock and cocorino. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it, really.
It's yeah, it's weird to see it. I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words. It's a when you know the outcome, but the people didn't know the outcome until it actually happened. Just the actors, right? The wrestlers were the only ones who knew more or less what was going to happen. It's like you lose. How you lose, we don't fucking know.
Okay,
You know,
but
you guys do it
mean,
yourselves.
but you get how it's not the same as like an actual sporting event. I mean,
Well,
I can see
they're
how it's
saying a lot
still
of.
I can see how it's still fun and everything, but
Have
it's
you seen
not the same.
the saying that all the American sports have a script behind it, and
Oh,
then
no,
you
I mean,
see so and so got the script because this and this happened.
yeah, I mean that's if that's the case, then yeah. But I mean,
No, yeah, it's definitely different. I
it's
mean,
different. I mean, come on,
one of
don't play with me.
the son how he had to prove to Vince, and he did all these fucking crazy things, and then there was one that was slamming him against the wall, and the wall wouldn't break,
Shit.
and he
Yes.
fell right on his neck.
Yes, and they kept throwing him like 3 times. Bro,
He's like, "It's not going."
every time I saw like some of the movements, I was like, that movement would have left me paralyzed for the rest
For
of my
sure.
life. Bro, like just the simplest shit. Just jumping and falling in like in the desks. Bro, there were some falls from the huge cage that I was like, how are these people not breaking like their arms and their necks? Like, it's insane.
I think they have to be kind of
Cushion a
soft
bit.
to the right
Yeah,
cushion.
but even then, like, bro, the heights were insane, bro. I mean, it was crazy what they were doing. To be honest, like, so that part, yeah, that's cool.
and how the women movement, like from being shown as objects to
Yeah.
actually having a movement, and now they're like some of the main events of that this wrestling matches.
I mean, that part, I don't know if it's true, but it could be. It could be that, but I mean, you have to add the sensual part to it because I think that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's better that it's cleaned up and that it works, and they're more protected and there's insurance. I think even like Logan Paul is doing it, and like I don't know if rappers or are like doing it too. Doing the wrestling. I think that's cool. I mean, that's like entertainment. You know what? It was crazy, and they used this in the documentary to sort of poke at Trump. They showed Donald Trump, and you're like, bro, I forgot this motherfucker really did this shit. He's about to be, maybe the president again. And then you look at the things, this guy was doing like wrestling, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Well, people forget that he also had a TV show where he was like a big boss, and then he would fire people, and then
Yeah.
But he was like always a showman.
Yeah.
He always did like. I think he also comes out in like sitcoms in the 90s,
Yeah.
like a guest spot.
Well, he appeared in Home Alone.
Home Alone, yeah. Oh, because I think they shot it at his hotel in New York, or that scene was set, so he came out. I mean, I thought it was funny, and how they integrated all celebrities to be
They're
part
eating
of this.
our dogs. the flipper hands. It's a flipper hands.
It was an interesting documentary. I would recommend it to people who have like a little nostalgia on the 90s.
Yeah,
and 2000s.
if you are 35 right now, have high blood pressure and haven't accomplished your dreams, Mr. McMahon in Netflix. If you don't have an account, 6 episodes. If you don't have an account, call your ex-girlfriend.
I'm about to ask you for your HBO login so I can.
What? I got you. Okay, so
At Gmail.
Let's talk about our boy, documentaries. We've been talking in our Spanish podcast about the Menendez Brothers series, which we watched. I watched a documentary today, actually. I finished it. That just came out, which is sort of like, it's like a follow-up, but in a documentary style. Did you watch it?
I have like 30 minutes left.
Okay.
I don't
mean,
know what happens at the end.
yeah, I mean, it's
Is that
sort of
drama?
it's in the same vein. It's no spoilers really because it's pretty much follows what the series showed. But I don't know. I think. Let me know if this is true or not. I mean, you still have a little bit of it left, but you watched most of it. I think the documentary wasn't at the same level of entertainment as the series.
Right.
And I don't mean this just to say, oh well, I mean obviously a series is supposed to. No, I think like there's documentaries that keep you hooked, and I kind of had to push myself to finish a doc, even though I'm super interested, because they just played tapes, and I really thought it was gonna be a little bit more like maybe even interviews, and then talking a little bit more about the actual like things that happened, like oh no this or whatever. I don't know. I was a bit disappointed with the doc. I thought it was gonna show more. Um, it's always good to have the videos of where you're watching them in the court. You see that, for example, the lawyer, the actor was spot on.
I was just
Uh,
gonna say that.
you get to see
Abramson?
you're about to watch it soon. The psychologist, Dr. Oziel, and you get to see they show you a little bit of the OJ part where OJ Simpson got caught, and it was like a few months after their what's it called, their trial was mistrial because it was a hung jury. So yeah, just give me a sec.
Very interesting. I I just thought it was what it was gonna be. So just like tapes and interview, I didn't think they were gonna give us much more than the what you saw or what you can see on YouTube, which is some of the court footage. So I didn't think it was gonna be like super entertaining. I just wanted to hear the story from their mouth, like from themselves. And I think Netflix does say that they did this through recordings. They did the interviews through the recordings, and they just play it. And I think I mean, for what they wanted to do it was right. I don't know if you've seen other documentaries like this on Netflix that they show a lot of recordings. In some cases, like the taping of the recording, like so you can see what was happening and not just listening to it. And but yeah, I knew it was going to be something like this. I wasn't going to be like, haha, let's laugh about it, fun.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess it
But
wasn't bad, but
it shows you what was the lady's name? The prosecutor for the county or for the state. She talks in this documentary. So bringing people like that, like people from their family.
yeah, no, that is true. I mean, I'm hating a bit here. I guess I was just expecting a little bit more, but it is true. It was very eye opening seeing things like the sister of the mom speak, seeing other family members speak. So in that sense, yeah.
And a lot of questions.
And the jury. The
jury, yeah.
Those
yeah.
testimonials were super cool because you could see the different ways that the people thought. So no, I thought that was great. And then they also explained that they were able to get back together and be in the same jail since 2017.
They spent like 30 years apart, 20 something years apart.
34, I think.
I think that's how long they've been in jail.
Yeah. Okay. So like 20 something.
20 something. Yeah. I mean, foreseeing the bond that they had, seeing them separated, it's kind of like, it feels more like a twin situation. Like they were twins because they spent so much of the time together. That, seeing them apart, it's kind of like, man, it kind of sucks, but also you guys are murderers.
I mean, I will say that even though, I've said this in the past, like I think they made up the story about the molesting so they could get off the murder.
Oh, they bring the cousin on, the one that saw some of the stuff that was going on. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
So when they were younger, there was a cousin in the house,
right?
And she saw what had happened to, I think it was Lyle, and she told the mom. and the mom's like, "Oh, you're seeing things, or it's not true, or whatever."
Okay.
And they bring her on to the documentary so she can talk about it, and that's what kind of feels like. They have a third person here who's saying this, and there was somebody also who said that they've never heard anything good about Jose Menendez. It's like everything he would hear about him was like bad stuff. So they made him. It makes you believe that some of the stuff that was happening was really.
Do you think Jose Menendez has something to do with Ricky Martin? Because Ricky Martin was in Menudo.
In Menudo that time, yeah.
So do you think?
Only Ricky Martin can tell us.
Come on, Ricky.
If he wants to come on and say something about it,
we'll be happy to look at our calendar and make some room for him, and he can tell us his story, of what happened to him in the Menudos.
Did you? I mean, we were too young for it, but do you remember Menudo?
No, I don't. I know Menudo because of my parents, but no, and it wasn't ever like around my. I think when I was of age, they weren't there anymore. Thankfully.
Yeah, I remember them being somewhat big, but maybe it was like the other. You know how after they turn a certain age, they're not good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw the second part of that.
Yeah, like Leo DiCaprio. Yeah.
Maybe Ricky Martin had just turned 15 and he wasn't good enough for Jose.
Get out of here. I need a tighter asshole. You know what was weird? They show the lady from England that wrote the book with the recordings when speaking to Lyle. No, Norma.
I mean, I remember it from the series, but
bro,
I don't think I've.
This is an old ass bitch, like a 55-year-old woman.
Well, they're in the 50s now.
No. But
at that
then,
time, she was
yeah.
Oh, so he lied to her, or she lied
to him. Yeah. She's like,
hey,
nah,
baby, I'm 20.
Hello, I'm a young ass little. I'm from Manchester. I got fucking wet ass pussy. He's like, for reals. I got the wettest pussy in all of England, baby.
Just the wettest.
The wettest. There's never been. I know them all. And bro,
Ricky Martin's 52. Man.
It was a post menopause old ass bitch that was recording his ass, then took out a fucking book, and then that pretty much fucked up their next trial, where they were fucked. And this was after OJ had won his trial, so they were like, we can't lose it. Bro, literally, like Garcetti was the mayor. No, not the mayor, the district attorney. And he was like adamant that these motherfuckers weren't gonna get off. And so it was. I've heard that they're like doing some shit to try to get out. But I also heard that appealing wise, they already appealed all the times that they could, and there's no way that they could reappeal the case. So I don't know. Because they said that the guy from Menudo came out and said some shit, but I don't think that's gonna make a change. Like somebody that knows about laws told me. I got people in the judicial system. They told me that yeah, like there's no legal apparatus for them to use at this stage because they've already used all their appeals. So there's nothing to do. It's such a tragedy to finally see the dream is over.
I kind of wish they would talk about this in the documentary.
About what?
Oh, we like this song. That's why we put it on.
Bro, why didn't they show that part?
They should have asked.
They should have asked, like, because they should have asked people, like, hey, did they really play that song? And they're like, yeah, they fucking played that song. So now I'm not even sure if they played that song. So yeah, that's the.
Maybe next time Kim Kardashian goes to see them, she can ask about the song. I think we need answers.
Why? Because she visits them.
You didn't know? She apparently Kim Kardashian is a lawyer now, and and she
You
went
didn't know Kim
into
Kardashian made a video with Lyle? You didn't know,
and
bro?
and she went into the jail with one of the actors, the one that portrays Eric, and they went to see like the real Eric and talk about stuff.
You didn't hear, bro? Kim Kardashian made a sex tape with Eric. Yeah, all the proceeds are going for a new fund that she made. Yeah, it's an organization that helps innocent people that have murdered their parents with shotguns.
Here they say Kim Kardashian is a criminal justice advocate.
That's what they call them now. Okay.
She
Hey,
said,
bro, did you hear about the new? Sorry.
Kim Kardashian has said, I've spent time with Lyle and Eric. They are not monsters. They are kind, intelligent, and honest men.
Okay.
They didn't do it for the money, bro.
Then that's all I need to hear. They should be freed.
Thanks to Kim.
I mean, any documentaries or any other series you watched recently?
No, the thing is that for me, it takes a while to finish one series or one documentary.
Really?
Because I fall asleep often. You know, I'm old now, as you know.
You look it.
And I have a kid who wakes up at fucking 5 a.m. now.
Damn. Energy.
So energy. So yeah, it takes me a while to watch documentaries. So last night I was trying to watch the Menendez one. It was 2 hours, and I was going to do it all at once, and I fell asleep.
The one cool thing about the documentary is that Eric starts talking about how, oh, I couldn't believe like they didn't like take us to jail right away. Like they treated them too nicely. You know, they didn't do like the explosives test. You know, if there's like a
the gunpowder,
a murder scene with weapons, they do an explosives test on people's hands that live there, because a lot of the
if you wash your hands?
No, it would still be there.
It would still be there.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever seen a person, or maybe you get random checked in an airport and they check for explosives? They do like this little test, and even if you would have taken a shower, if you have been handling explosives in the last days, it would show up. I don't know what it is, but there's something to it. Something in the air tonight. Yeah, so...
Also, you could have dogs smell you like they do at the airport.
Yeah, but I think this is like a little bit more deep. Like you need a different type of test that's chemically induced.
I see.
So anyways. But yeah, it is crazy that these guys really didn't organize this murder too well. As far as murders go, this wasn't too...
bottom.
Yeah, this
bottom
was
tier.
Bottom tier. Just very, very mediocre.
Amateur.
Fucking didn't buy the ticket for the movie theater at the right time. Just fucking it up. Just fucking it up. And then dude talks to his psychologist.
I mean, he did say in the documentary that he was going to say, if the police kept pushing him a little bit further, he would have confessed right away.
Right, except they didn't push him.
Because they weren't suspects at the moment.
Yeah, like, he's like, if they would have looked at my car, they would have found the shells. I mean, there were all these things that I'm like, what the hell, man?
By the way, very random, just to go back, Vince McMahon, 79 years old.
Looks good.
He looks good.
You think he's still fucking...
Big, strong man. What? He's still fucking... He did say he's sexually active.
Okay.
He did say that in one of the episodes.
All right. Good to know.
79. I mean, now they talk about all the affairs. Sorry, we're going back and forth between...
No, I mean, I think people love this. They like the going back and forth.
One of the things they talk about was that he had all these affairs, but they never talk about if the wife knew, if the wife was okay with this. Because
I mean, from the documentary, it seems she didn't have a say in any of this.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if they're even together at the end of the doc.
And it's crazy that she got a position in in small business, something with Trump. So, I mean, there's smart people to be in that positions.
No,
Interesting.
they're big businessmen. They come from family that have had connections with the TVs and shit. So it's this
I want to
whole
see if they're still
conglomerate.
married.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, fucking up to your 80s, that's gangster, you know? I mean, that's Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, right? Impregnating
Yeah.
motherfuckers. New babies, that's sick, you know? You have a baby, you probably won't get, to see him when he's 10, but fuck it.
Yeah, it
Robert
doesn't
Pacino. Robert
doesn't
Cappuccino.
say. Hey, it says that they're still married, according to Wikipedia.
And how old is she?
76.
That's crazy.
Administrator of the Small Business Administration.
Okay.
Administrator of the Small Business Administration.
All right.
Interesting. Good choices this week. You always tell me these things, so I appreciate it. It gives me something to watch, something to do. So, good choice on the Vince McMahon. Always a good choice with a murder documentary.
Not all of them, but these ones were good. The Menendez.
This one's and it's some of that documentary. It's like the same storyline that we saw in the series, right? It seemed like to follow the same pattern.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like planned to be almost like one follows the other.
Right. And do you remember when the series came out? Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was meant to be that way. Like the series came out, people would watch it, start talking about it again, and then release a documentary.
What's crazy is I think both dudes are married right now. I don't know if you get marital visits.
Conjugal visits.
Conjugal.
I'm guessing yes. I don't know. Can we ask Google that?
Yeah, go ask Google. I'm interested to know. Because that does change things. Like a jail where there's no, conjugal visits, that's a jail where you're going to have a lot more homoerotic activity. I'm sure.
Prisons in California permit conjugal visits, but prisoners serving life sentences without parole are banned from such privileges.
Oh, shit. Yeah, but those are the ones that kind of need it the most.
The law was changed. The law was changed in 2016. However, since Eric and Lyle committed the violent offense against their family member, they're still not eligible for family visits.
Yeah, but conjugal visits and family visits are different, right?
I guess, but also
in Alabama it's the same.
If they can't get family, I'm guessing wife.
It's even
gets into that family realm.
Okay. But if you're in for like 5 years, you can.
It seems like it, yeah. Unless, these people are like murderers and prisoners serving life sentences without parole, so they're never getting out.
If you're serving life, you need to fuck somebody inside the jail, like
drop the soap a couple times.
Yeah, like there's no other choice. Damn, that's fucked. I wonder how it is in Europe, because Europe is always like very permissive in this type of scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, we allow our, we have a bunch of donkeys for for our prisoners to just fuck freely. It's the law in Europe.
Is it true that I don't remember when? I know we talked about this in the Spanish podcast, but there was a prison in Venezuela that had like games in like an arcade and I don't know if there was families actually living in the husband who's serving life in prison.
Yeah, that happens.
The wife,
in Venezuela, the jails, the big dudes in the jail, like the ones that run shit, and I don't mean the government or I mean like the criminals that run the jail.
Right.
Yeah, some of them have like their families living there with them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how every country does their own shit. The premise is there that you need to be in jail, but how everything's run. Every single country does their own.
Bro, the Venezuelan prisons are so crazy. I mean, I've heard some stories of like the shit that goes inside. It's just like it's kind of like you know what it is? If anybody remembers Pleasure Island in Orlando, in the what's it called, the walking center or the I can't remember how it's called now. The City Walk
Mm. Okay.
in Orlando. There was this like huge thing, and there was Pleasure City or Pleasure Island, and he had a bunch of like clubs. This is the same, but like hood level, where you have like bowling
Let's
alleys, you have discos, you know, you have a park for your kids, you have a water park, you have a bar, a restaurant. It's all inside the Venezuelan jail. You could say they're the most advanced jails in the world.
mm, true that.
So, but yeah, Menendez, at least they're together now. They don't say anything about them doing things with each other, which was it was thrown a little bit on the series. On the series, there was this episode where they make you think, okay, look, these two were doing things to each other. So I don't know, maybe that part is not real. Who knows?
Trying to find you a picture of Pleasure Island, but the ones that I found are like in the 80s.
Hmm. Maybe maybe it's not Pleasure Island. Put Pleasure City.
The one in Disney, right? Downtown
Yeah,
Disney.
the one, yeah,
Yeah,
downtown Disney.
it's that.
I don't think that exists anymore, though.
No, I think now it's what you said before, like the walk. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I can't.
restaurants and shit. I mean, it's just more expensive things to get your money.
I don't know. This is from the air, so it doesn't seem that big, but when you're there,
Yeah,
it's
I
huge.
remember it was cool. You would pay. I mean, I was too young to go in when it existed, but I
But
remember
it
like,
did have like restaurants and like
mhm.
discotheques.
Discotheques, bruh. No, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice. For the people that are listening, if there is like a documentary, a series, something that you've seen recently that you're like, hey man, this shit is pretty fire, let us know. You know, we would like to know so we can share it and we'll talk about it. If you like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like it, give it a thumbs up.
What if somebody suggests that we watch something like Love is Blind or one of those reality TV shows on Netflix?
I mean, we could do it if it's for the peeps. You know, take
If the
advantage
peeps
now that we're small.
will do all this crazy shit for
Yeah, like
you.
right now we're like willing to do anything to get our subscribers up. So, you know, take advantage of it. If you're one of the few people that listens to it now, leave a comment, leave a request. Shit, we'll do
That's
it.
how we were doing. I thought
We'll
we were
do it right
doing
now. We're
anything.
cheap whores.
We'll do it
Later,
for free now,
later,
basically.
later, we're gonna be expensive escorts. Yeah, that's right.
Just the most expensive escort.
Yeah, the most expensive escorts. Okay?
Do, Hmm.
No, that's it.
Hmm.
No, that's it.
Do you know that there's some ladies that you can pay and not have any sexual relations with, but she can accompany you to like restaurants, to the movies, to the theater. I don't know how much you would pay for that. It's just like a woman who accompanies you.
Yeah.
How much would you are willing to pay for some company? Not sexual stuff, but
Right.
I want to read a book and I just want you to
I
sit
mean, if
there.
I would pay for that, but if it was a guy, so we can like speak about World War II. What am I gonna speak with this dumb broad? No, I mean that's
Maybe you
very
should read a
common.
book.
That's very common in the Asian communities, like in Japan, South Korea. You go to a bar and you sort of pay like a lady for to be there with you, just talking, making you feel like you're not a complete loser.
Where did I see this? That you can pay people to just do that, accompany you in a walk through the park, and then this you can choose from this variety of people, basically.
Can you choose a dude like us that has a strong ass accent to make it more like authentic?
We'll do 200 an hour.
Here in Spain, there's something very similar to that. In Spain, lifespan is higher than the average in the world. That means people live a lot. So there's a lot of older community here, and they need people to walk them. So there's like old people walkers. It's like a profession here, right? And a lot of the people that do those jobs are like people from South America that don't have like any papers. So there's like a profile for it. So let's say you want to hire somebody, as an escort just to be with you. But let's say you wanted to feel authentic. I wanted to feel like I'm getting walked by somebody that would do it in normal circumstances. So it's like a Dominican lady that's 45. She walks you.
You know that
tell her about like, oh, back in the day, we used to hit women and shit.
there's an app basically for that, but for blind people who can make a call through your phone. It's set up in a way that they can maneuver it. And then through the app, you can contact someone to help you view their eyes. So basically, this blind person calls you, and it's just on the camera, and the person is like, I need help with a sock to match a sock. So they're showing you different socks. And I think that's a very cool app for people or blind people to have their help. Oh, I need, to match this shirt with a pant. And then you can.
Very cute. What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
I have no clue.
Oh,
I have no clue. Oh, like the company stuff. Maybe you can talk to somebody through the app and just be like, hey, I want to talk.
Oh, I see. I get you.
Through the company, I don't know.
Yeah.
The juice is doing the full effect right now.
The dogs. Oh, you had a cannabis juice?
The juicer.
Okay. OJ. Okay.
Shout out.
Pew pew. Okay. No, that's cool. I mean, what would be cool? Like you just put your glasses on, looking like an undercover cop. Glasses with the cameras, which already exist. You're a blind person. You get one of those things. Then that video is being streamed live to some dude in India. And he's speaking to you on your headphones, telling you what's happening in front of you. Okay, do you see what I'm talking about here?
Yeah.
Okay, and you have a center in Bangladesh where you have 100 of these little dudes. And you don't need a dude per blind person in the US. You can have one of those dudes handle like 5 blind people at a time. I worked in these call centers before. And pretty much you're just telling him like, oh, no, turn left. Oh, look, no, don't put it in there. It's a trans person, Like, hey, no, you're paying too much. Tip him less. Boom. And he's just giving you tips all day.
Maybe instead of the people in Bangladesh, we just use AI and we don't have to pay.
No, people. But I prefer an Indian dude.
Because of the accent?
Yeah, like there's nothing like an Indian accent in your ear guiding you through your life. Please do not turn left, turn to the right. It just makes more sense.
Right.
Don't put it in here, you need to put a condom. It's just a little bit easier to go through life, just having that confidence. Because sometimes you're like, hey, I think it's green. But what if I go and there's a fucking truck and that's it? I'm not blind anymore. I'm gone. I'm gone, with Jesus. No, but instead I have somebody on my ear. Do not worry. You can go now. It's a green. To the left, there's a very good Indian restaurant. They serve the best curry. Wouldn't you want to have that guidance if you, unfortunately, if you didn't have the gift of sight?
For sure.
And wouldn't it be the best to have that guiding voice be a very well-educated dude from Bangladesh?
Would it be like a 24/7 kind of?
Yeah, he's taking care of you 24/7, dog.
And
maybe two shift. Maybe 2 shift.
Maybe can you change the settings and maybe change it to like an Australian guy?
Hello, mate. No, bro, they're not gonna do that job for the amount we're paying. I'm sorry, it's just not it's not available in the market. We can't get you somebody from Paraguay. But I will say, quality wise, we get a lot better results from the Indians. Bangladeshi, if we need to be exact. I don't wanna, tomato. So yeah, I'm just giving ideas here for people that have the money. The technology already exists. The glasses already exist. Ray-Ban, they have these glasses with cameras that connect to the internet, and then you already have earpods. Partner with Meta. Yeah, we can just partner with Meta or one of these things. Zuckerberg, hey bro, and he can even like make a speech about it where he's like, "Oh yeah, we're doing it for the blind people, to help the world." No, he's doing it for the money. We want the money, But if while we're getting the money, we also get to help the blind people, go on a date. Because, you have Fahim helping him out. Tell her now how beautiful her necklace is. You don't think you're not going to score more that way?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
You're not about that life?
I don't know if I'm about that life. Would you rather be silent, though?
I want to ask like an actual blind person. Because I think you're talking out of your ass just because, you have your sight. But if I was to ask a blind person, hey, do you want to continue like you are now? Or would you want to have a Bangladeshi boy whisper you in your ear guidance while you're going through life without sight? He can be your eyes. You know the bonding, the connection that you make with that person? You make such a strong connection with this person, sometimes you can even smell them. That's how like the bonding is, So before you laugh, think about these things.
Yeah.
You disrespectful piece of shit. All right. We're on all of the platforms. We need more votes on Spotify and iTunes. Please just go there. Just go there. 5 stars. That's it. Free. It's free. And what do we get for that? The algorithm. No, but the algorithm does say like, oh damn, look, they're getting more likes. Maybe we should recommend it to other people. And then we're able to have a little bit more of a chance to maybe monetizing this shit at one point before we fucking turn 50.
Oh, you're telling me this is not monetized?
Oh, this is a failure? Yeah, Chef Maurice, you haven't caught on. We're going bankrupt. We have enough listeners for me to lose $200 a month. So we're almost breaking even. All right. No, but for real, help us out. Share it. If you have friends that like weird things, like share it. We really need your help. We need help. We need a few subscribers to let us feel like, hey, man, keep going. Don't fucking quit. Continue to, put your life in this. Hey, man, help us out. Love you. Take care. San Francisco's in the house. Madrid's in the house. What's that hat from? The Alabama Munchkins? No, the
Montgomery Biscuits.
Montgomery Biscuits. All right. That's what it is. Take care. Keep it clean. Keep it gangster. Keep it Gucci.